Day celebration.
President Muhammadu Buhari reaffirms Nigeria's continued support for peace and stability in Guinea-Bissau.
The 60th independence anniversary celebration will be low-key, as our president has already announced.
Federal government unveils events to commemorate Nigeria's 60th independence anniversary.
Will remain professional and that nothing but the votes cast by the Ondo people will determine who becomes the next governor of Ondo State.
INEC shifts attention to Ondo State governorship election after Edo 2020. Good evening and thanks for joining us on Network News tonight. I am Jumwa Yusuf and Hingino John Adams is in Lagos. We are live in Abuja. We begin with the presidency. President Muhammadu Buhari has reaffirmed Nigeria's continued support and assistance to the Republic of Guinea-Bissau towards sustaining peace, stability and democratic governance. Addressing a large gathering of participants who converged on the capital of Bissau to celebrate the country's 47th independence anniversary, the president emphasized that a peaceful and prosperous Guinea-Bissau is a win for West Africa and the entire continent. State House correspondent Adamu Sambu reports.
It was a highly befitting reception for President Muhammadu Buhari as he arrived Osvaldo Vieira International Airport, Bissau, on his first visit to Guinea-Bissau since coming to power. President Umaru Sissoco Embalo was at the head of the welcoming party. President Buhari and his host later joined their counterparts from Senegal, Burkina Faso and Mauritania at the National Stadium Alto Badim to commemorate the 47th independence anniversary of the West African country. The event was not only historic and remarkable, but indeed momentous for a country of less than 2 million people that experienced 9 coups or attempted coups and until now embroiled in serious socio-political conflicts. The incumbent President Embalo is therefore seen as a symbol of hope for a united, stable and prosperous nation. Speaking at the event, President Muhammadu Buhari said he is indeed proud of the support Nigeria provided towards entrenching democracy in Guinea-Bissau. This support, he said, can only be increased under his tenure.
I congratulate you and good people of the Republic of Guinea-Bissau on your Independence Day celebration and express my wishes for greater achievement in the years ahead. It is my sincere prayer that your country will continue on the path of regional cohesion, growth and unity.
The president used the opportunity to reflect on the excellent relations between Nigeria and Guinea-Bissau, promising to work more closely with President Embalo to carry it on to the next level of fruitful cooperation and partnership.
Permitting me to conclude by expressing my profound gratitude to you, the government and the good people of the Republic of Guinea-Bissau for being a good host to the Nigerians resident here in your country. Colonial boundaries would never break the bond of kinship that bind us.
And as a mark of appreciation for his enormous contributions to peace, stability, security and democratic enterprise in Guinea-Bissau, the government named a major road in the capital city after the Nigerian leader. President Buhari formally inaugurated the road before returning to Abuja. In Guinea-Bissau, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
In another development, President Muhammadu Buhari has made a case for world leaders to ensure that their countries not only adopt open government principles, but help democracy live up to public expectations so that their citizens can have a voice at and beyond the ballot box. The president said of this in a virtual address to this year's Open Government Partnership Leaders Summit on the sidelines of the United Nations General Assembly. Again, State House correspondent Adamu Sambu has a report.
The Open Government Partnership is a multilateral initiative that aims at securing concrete commitments from national and subnational governments towards promoting open government, empowering citizens, fighting corruption, and harnessing new technologies towards strengthening governance. The 2020 virtual was convened to not only address how to build stronger democracies in the future, but also discuss the role of open government innovations in effective COVID-19 pandemic management and tracking trillions of dollars in stimulus and safety net packages.
As COVID-19 cases continue to accelerate worldwide.
In his submission, President Muhammadu Buhari said citizens worldwide are now seeking information, engagement, and support from their governments as the world faces twin challenges of managing the health and economic impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic.
It is clear that governments cannot solve all of the challenges of the pandemic alone. And it is only through open governance and working with citizens that we can succeed.
Since coming to power in 2015, the president said his administration has been committed to changing international and domestic perceptions regarding Nigeria's commitment to fighting corruption and fostering good governance.
We focus on the task of dealing head-on with this destructive monster, which led to us joining the Open Government Partnership and making reform commitments, such as to establish a public central register of beneficial owners of corporate entities. Since then, we have made significant progress in implementing tougher anti-corruption measures, including my recent assent to the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020.
President Buhari explained that being an open government partnership member country, Nigeria has been able to learn from other countries tackling similar challenges and building coalition towards supporting reform measures aimed at enhancing citizens' trust in government.
These consultations are in line with the effort of our administration to encourage public participation in government policies and programs. We aim to expand the partnership in the African continent by continuing to play a leading role in the International Steering Committee. To my fellow Nigerians, I encourage you to get involved and help shape and sustain our democracies for now and the future.
And as the Open Government Partnership celebrates 10 years of existence next year, President Muhammadu Buhari appreciated the leadership and staff of the Global Support Unit for the enormous work being done towards ensuring that voices are not only heard, but indeed valued. In Abuja, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Still on the United Nations General Assembly, President Muhammadu Buhari says there is a compelling need to strengthen international cooperation and the global effort to curtail the menace of illicit financial flows, as current international mechanisms are not strong enough to address the menace. The President stated this at the Financial Accountability, Transparency and Integrity Panel video conference organized on the sidelines of the ongoing United Nations General Assembly. On the approach to promote equity and help achieve economic growth, the President, represented by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, agreed with the panel on the importance of having a balanced approach that reflects the situation in different regions and the priorities of different stakeholders. President Muhammadu Buhari observed that for the global aspiration to recover better from the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic and to yield any inclusive result, existing structures that make it possible for countries to generate and retain a sizable chunk of their resources must be comprehensively addressed. The President said evidence suggests that the contemporary international tax system uses a taxing rights regime that is not fit for purpose, as it makes combating tax abuse, especially by multinational corporations, difficult for most developing countries. President Buhari hopes that the final report on the FACTI panel would introduce proposals that will lead towards a fairer international tax regime, and that the report would contain proposals that will address the continuing advocacy for country-by-country reporting, open disclosure and automatic exchange of information on beneficial ownership, as well as eliminate financial secrecy, jurisdiction and tax havens that facilitate base erosion and profit shifting. Laulu Akande, Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity in the Office of the Vice President, in a release said the event was convened to present the interim report of the FACTI panel, which identified the major gaps in the implementation of the existing international frameworks for tax cooperation, anti-corruption and anti-money laundering. To other matters now, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, is leading other government representatives to dialogue with the organized labor over an impending industrial strike action for the 28th of September by trade unions. The expanded bilateral meeting is to review the issues of modulation in petroleum price and the hike in electricity tariff. Both parties are fully represented to resolve the issues to avoid anything that would lead to the collapse of the economy. Now, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo was Thursday briefed by Governor Yahaya Bello on the fatal accident at Felele Junction in Lokoja, which claimed many lives. The governor also used the opportunity to call on government's attention to the poor state of federal roads in the state. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports.
The Vice President, who commiserates with affected families, the people and government of the state, promises that the federal government will continue to give utmost attention to developing critical infrastructure in the state and across the country. Governor Yahaya Bello, who had paid similar visits to the Minister of Works, says the state is grateful for the show of love received from the federal government and Nigerians over the incident, and especially the promise to improve federal roads in the state.
He expressed his concern also that moving forward, federal government is going to fund the various contractors to ensure that those road infrastructures are completed. They are doing excellently very well in the road infrastructure across the country, but we want more attention to be paid to Kogi State because it is the gateway between the north and south. And if our road is cut off, then even FCT is going to suffer, for it.
On funding of the proposed University of Science and Technology in the state, the governor says the university will be gently funded by the state and local governments, as well as the private sector. In the State House, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
The federal government has unveiled events lined up to commemorate Nigeria's 60th anniversary at a media briefing in Abuja. Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed disclosed that the celebration will last through the 30th of September next year. Anthony Fossen reports.
Flanked by the Ministers of Communication and Digital Economy, Isa Ali Pantami, and that of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadia Umar Farouk, Lai Mohammed said the 60th Independence celebration, which will be low-keyed, begins with a public lecture on Friday, 25th at 10 o'clock in the morning and will be followed with a special Jumat prayers at the National Mosque. On Sunday 27th, there will be an interdenominational church service at the National Christian Center, Abuja, by 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Members of the public, the minister said, can join the church service virtually by logging on to the YouTube channel at OFFICIALOSGFN. On Monday 28 September by 10 o'clock in the morning, there will be the launch of the National Ethics and Integrity Award by President Muhammadu Buhari to commemorate the 20th anniversary of the ICPC at the State House. There will also be a historical exhibition Sunday by 3 o'clock in the afternoon at the National Press Center, Radio House, Abuja. On Thursday, October 1st, there will be the presidential broadcast from the presidential villa, and later at 10 o'clock, there will be the Guard of Honor and anniversary parade at the Eagle Square.
The 60th Independence Anniversary celebration will be low-key, as the President has already announced. Of course, this is not unconnected with the COVID-19 global pandemic, which has forced some safety protocols on nations around the world. Therefore, the pomp and pageantry that should have marked the celebration will be largely missing.
The theme for the celebration is Together, And for the minister, the theme is apt, Nigeria having survived a civil war, years of political crisis, daunting security challenges, including religious and ethnic crises.
The age of 60 is seen at the beginning of a new cycle of life, and it's usually well marked. For Nigeria as a country, the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari offers a new beginning. The administration is working assiduously to build a new Nigeria, laying the building blocks for industrial and technological development by building massive infrastructures in the areas of power, roads, bridges, rail, etc.
To this end, the minister disclosed that some events that will come up in the course of the year will be announced as the year unfolds. In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
Time to take our first breather. More reports when we return. Do stay.
Amaka, ani kilo ṣẹlẹ̀. If you do better thing, you thrive, mama.
Leave that house now. Amaka.
Stay where you are. You are going nowhere. Amaka!
For blockbuster movies like this, series and much more, download the NTA TV app.
Mr. Announcer, you don't tell them say this film is still there on top of fire. And you say me, we still the shoot, so.
Download the NTA TV app from Apple and Android Play Store. Enjoy up to 1.5 gigabyte free data monthly. NTA TV by Airtel, the smartphone network.
At Elizade Autoland, we don't just sell quality, we build quality. JAC Motors, assembled in Nigeria by Elizade Autoland. Increasing high demand for fleets of JAC Motor brands by members of the public and private sectors. JAC Motors are clearly built with one purpose in mind. They are built to serve. Elizade Autoland, sole distributor of JAC Motors in Nigeria.
Nigeria is a rich nation of green land, rich resources, countless crops and commodities sufficient to feed and provide a means of livelihood for her teeming population. Chin up, Nigeria, the giant of Africa. Exciting times are here. We can be self-reliant and grow our economy if we work together to explore our potential. It takes a whole nation. Let us get involved. Buy Nigerian to grow Nigeria.
How hot is she?
Maybe a 7. How hot is he?
8.5.
Whoa, how hot is she? Very hot. Pick me, just pick me, baby. Come pick me, girl. Man, I'm all ready for you.
So tasty.
He's so lucky.
Stop being jealous, man.
Mini-Me, taste the fun.
Make a load recharge card, I beg.
I don't find the money.
Plenty day to win for the 9 Mobile Mega Millions promo. 1 million naira for one person every day for 90 days. 2 smartphones every hour, every day for 90 days. 10 million naira start price today. New customers just come with side or buy a new line, and we go send you free 1 gigabyte plus 500 naira airtime. So make you the recharge 200 naira or more. Make you for the win.
9 Mobile.
The chairman, Interministerial Committee for the celebration of Nigeria's 60th independence anniversary and secretary to the government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, invites you to the following events. Thursday, 24th September, World Press Conference venue, Obasanjo Hall, Federal Secretariat, Phase 2, time 11 a.m. Friday, 25th, public lecture, venue, National Mosque Conference Hall, time 10 a.m. Special Jumat prayers, 1 p.m. at the same venue. Sunday, 27th, Interdenominational Church Service, National Christian Center, Abuja, time 3 p.m. Members of the public can join the church service virtually by logging on to the YouTube channel of the OSGF at Official OSGF NG. Monday 28, launch of the National Ethics and Integrity Policy as well as Integrity Award by Mr. President to commemorate the 20th anniversary of ICPC. Venue, State House, Presidential Villa, Abuja, time 10 a.m. Historical exhibition, National Press Center, Radio House, Abuja, 3 p.m. Thursday, October 1st, Guard of Honor, Anniversary Parade, Eagle Square, Abuja, time 10 a.m. Anniversary theme, Together. Please note, these events are strictly by invitation and all COVID-19 protocols will be adhered to. Chairman, Media and Publicity Subcommittee, Announcer.
This is NTA Network News. The Deputy President of the Senate, Senator Ove Omo Agege, says state creation is realizable if the proponents lobby stakeholders across geopolitical zones. He was speaking when he granted audience to a delegation from Bauchi State, which is seeking the creation of Katagum State. Ignatius Onko reports.
It is the beginning of another constitution amendment process at the National Assembly, with various interest groups soliciting for consideration. Senator Ovie Omo Agege is the chairman of the Senate Ad Hoc Committee on Constitution Review, and all memoranda must be submitted to his office. This time, his visitors are representatives from Katagum, Misau and Jamar Emirates in Bauchi State. They are seeking for the creation of Katagum State. Former head of civil service of the Federation and secretary to the government of the Federation, Alhaji Yayale Ahmed, led the delegation.
That the request for the creation of the new state comprising of the aforementioned 9 local governments in the northern part of Bauchi State is not a new one, but a genuine desire for a rapid economic, political and social development in the area. And we have started this struggle for the creation of the state since 1981.
Irrespective of my personal views, the views of members of this committee, we're going to require you to do a lot of lobbying. No matter what we think as members of this committee about the appropriateness and justness of your cause.
Meanwhile, the Senate Committee on Appropriation has restated its commitment on stringent oversight to annual budget performance by ministries, departments and agencies. Chairman of the committee, Jibrin Barau, stated this shortly before abrupt adjournment of the scheduled 2020 budget performance.
This committee is not only saddled with putting together the budget, not only concerned with the appropriations process, but also the implementation of the budget.
Parliamentary scrutiny of annual budget performance precedes the consideration of the following year's budget from the National Assembly. Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
Talking electoral matters now, involving all stakeholders to ensure a credible and successful election in Ondo is critical at this period. This is why the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, is engaging traditional rulers in Ondo State for them to use their reverse tool to influence their subjects in avoiding electoral malpractice. Abiola Ario reports.
Media remains a critical stakeholder in the process of election, and therefore there is the need for continuous flow of information between the media and INEC. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmood Yakubu wants journalists to report any form of electoral malpractice, and while on the part of the Commission, he promises that INEC will continue to remain neutral.
Will remain professional and that nothing but the votes cast by the Ondo people will determine who becomes the next governor of Ondo State.
As journalists, we have roles to play to ensure that we expose people who want to buy votes on the election day.
Other issues raised at the media parley includes issues that have to do with the security of journalists while on election duty, and INEC promises to tackle that.
The input that we receive from you from the field is very important in order to enable us to respond to challenges as they arise during elections, and then the kind of lessons that we learn from one election to another.
And for the members of the fourth estate of the realm that is talking about journalists, they are promising that the Ondo State governorship election will be covered objectively with the ethics of the profession upheld. In Akure, Doris Olumoko, NTA News.
The leadership of the governing All Progressives Congress APC is calling on Nigerians to continue to have faith on elected officials under its platform as they deliver on the party's promises. These were the words of the National Caretaker and Extraordinary Convention Committee Chairman, Governor Mai Mala Buni, and other governors during the inauguration of some roads executed by the Jigawa State Government. Awul Mohammed Kazori reports.
Projects inaugurated are the 26 kilometers Taura to Garki, 29 kilometers Kwanarmedi to Danzomo to Garki, and the 4.7 kilometers Gumal Township roads. Chairman Nigerian Governors Forum and Ekiti State Governor Kayode Fayemi, the APC National Caretaker Committee Chairman, and Yobe State Governor Mai Mala Buni, and the Chairman Northern Governors Forum Simon Bakola Long inaugurated the roads.
From them, the creativity, the passion that they're using to apply the best and the most critical resources to the needs of the people.
This road is one of the many roads constructed by this administration with a view to opening up our agri-potential areas, providing easy access to market, healthcare, and educational facilities.
Governor Muhammad Badaru Abubakar says his administration inherited over 42 uncompleted roads of 716 kilometers in 2015 and have been completed. Other new roads projects estimated at over 68 billion naira are ongoing across Jigawa State. From Duse, Awal Muhammad Kazauri, NTA News.
Away from politics now, an effort to redefine Nigeria's focus and drive paradigm shift in its research and development enterprise is in the offing. This is equal to the inauguration of eminent members drawn from the academia and industries as Standing Committee on Research Development by Tertiary Education Fund, TED Fund. Abdullahi Musa Sleja reports.
Disconnect between the academia and industries, such that research in Nigerian tertiary institutions is seen as mere tool to climb to academic ladder, while it is more convenient for industries to shop for innovations, and the result of research fundings in other countries outside the shores of Africa have been source of concern. This unpatriotic and unproductive orientation, which negates one of the Sustainable Development Goals that identifies traditional and indigenous people at the center of development, is about to be changed by the Tertiary Education Fund.
May it be said soon that today's historic event is a veritable watershed, and indeed new marriage between the academia and industry, so that the research community would be seen to have tied a bond that will outlive all of us.
For the Minister of Education who inaugurated the committee, it is a big burden for the members.
But it is also possible that we'll be big and challenge ourselves to do more.
The work of the over 160-member committee is expected to change the narratives on how research and development can bring about appreciable progress in Nigeria. Abdullahi Musa Sleja, NTA News.
From 1st of October this year, a Nigerian lottery game will hit the screen. This was disclosed by the Director General National Lottery Regulatory Commission, Lanre Bajabiamila, during a courtesy visit to the headquarters of the Nigerian Television Authority. Elizabeth Omori has details of the visit.
Lottery, a form of game that involves the drawing of numbers at random for a prize, no doubt is the order of the day in many countries, with the sports sector taking the lead. For players to have confidence in lotto games, the National Lottery Regulatory Commission, saddled with the responsibility to ensure accurate monitoring and assessment of proceeds accruing to operators to determine the prize money, is seeking partnership with the NTA to create awareness on the Niger national game steaming in the pipeline.
Because of the transparency of this particular game, we have to be able to televise the draws on a weekly basis in the short span of about 2 to 3 minutes max.
The Director General of the NTA, who assured the Commission of his organization's support, noted that creating a fair and transparent platform for players will go a long way in restoring trust and by extension create wealth for the lottery sector.
We'll be there for you. Yes, some of services attract costs, but costs shouldn't be an impediment, to our working together as a team. We will give you discounts where we have to.
The game is expected to come up every Saturday on NTA. In Abuja, Elizabeth Omori, NTA News.
First Lady Aisha Muhammadu Buhari has distributed relief materials to flood victims in Niger State with the hope that the support will make huge impact on the lives of those affected. State House correspondent Aliu Kabir reports.
Niger State, like some states in Nigeria, is also affected by the recent flood, ravaging many communities, leaving the victims devastated and seeking for serious intervention. It is in response to this, the First Lady of Nigeria, Aisha Muhammadu Buhari, brought succor to them. Areas visited by future Ashua team include Maitumbi, Flamingo area of Mina, Darussalam, Fadire Kutruko, Onguan Rahama and Tungam Farm Center. The victims benefited from the items such as rice, toiletries, assorted foods, cooking oil and other essential commodities.
The idea behind our commiseration or the First Lady's commiseration is to come to the aid of these victims.
Very big thank you to Her Excellency, the wife of the President, Hajia Aisha Buhari, for this wonderful, kind gesture.
With the excitement on their faces for this laudable gesture, the victims are calling on the relevant authorities to expedite actions towards doing everything possible to address the challenges of drainage system to allow free flow of water for the avoidance of future occurrence of the flooding. In Mina, Niger State, Aliu Kabir, NTA News.
Now, with the commencement of the registration process for the federal government Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Survival Fund and Guaranteed Offtake Schemes on the 21st of September, over 174,000 entries have been made. This was disclosed by the Minister of State, Industry, Trade and Investment, Mariam Yawaji Katagum. Chimobi Walter in Nigeria now reports.
Current efforts by the federal government to revive the real sector of the economy by injecting a 75 billion naira MSME survival fund into the sector has no doubt raised expectation among key players. 5 states of Kano, Kaduna, Lagos, Katsina and the FCT are top on the states that have already keyed into the scheme after opening of the portal for registration on the 21st of September.
And in this first tranche, we had targeted those in the education sector. But our observation is other Nigerians have been a bit impatient. So we have, when we looked at the analysis of the sectors, other sectors that were not yet opened had started creeping into this particular registration. So these numbers I've given is not entirely education. We've seen other sectors. I think maybe just out of anxiety.
One of the core responsibilities of the Presidential Committee is to ensure a seamless and transparent process, especially guarding against internet fraudsters and site cloning activities.
Artisans will be getting a one-off 30,000 naira. So this scheme is targeted at 333,000 MSMEs across the country.
What Katsina State also did was they engaged all their local stations to provide information and sensitize the general public. So we call on all the state of the Federation to key into this initiative.
Subsequently, Other tracks of the scheme will be opened, starting with hospitality industry on the 25th of September, payroll support and the rest on the 28th of September, while the first tranche of grants to artisans and transport sectors is expected to start on the 1st of October, with 12 states participating. In Abuja, Chimubi Walter Naji, NTA News.
For more reports on NTA Network News tonight, let's join Hingino in our Lagos studio for more from that axis. Hello, Hingino.
Hello, Jumway. At least 30 persons have sustained various degrees of injuries as a result of a gas tanker explosion which occurred at Sele bus stop in Ifako-Ijaya area of Lagos. Director General of the Lagos State Emergency Management Agency, LASEMA, Olufemi Oke Osanyitolu, who confirmed the incident, said an unknown truck conveying gasoline had a lone accident and exploded, thereby destroying 15 vehicles and 23 buildings. No life was lost, and emergency responders are recording success in the quest to put off the fire caused by the explosion. While urging Lagosians to remain calm, the Director General of LASEMA confirmed that a compromised seal device by the truck driver conveying gasoline led to gradual leakages which ignited when the tires bursted. Now talking maritime issues. The blue economy accounts for 3.5 to 7% of global GDP, and for Nigeria to amass the wealth inherent in the seas and ocean, international conventions aimed at preserving the maritime ecosystem must be domesticated. This was the submission of stakeholders as Nigeria joins the rest of the world to mark this year's Maritime Day. Michael Olale has details.
The maritime industry was the last man standing at the height of the coronavirus pandemic. While the world was on a standstill, more than 7 billion people depended on the seas and oceans for foods and drugs. This huge traffic of economic activities tend to be the underlying factors, while the United Nations is supporting transition of the shipping industry towards sustainable developments.
Sustainable economy is essential for attaining more inclusive development paths consistent with the 2030 agenda for sustainable development.
Of our shipping industry is still in existence, is still validly in business with support of government institutions.
Stakeholders say optimizing shipping practices to mitigate the effects of climate change and strengthening legislations for the implementation of IMO regulatory framework are crucial for economic growth.
It is our duty, therefore, as members of the IMO, government and of course stakeholders, to imminently place in place to ensure the sustainability of not just our sector, but the planet and mankind in general.
The marine environment management of the department, in conjunction with the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporations, we are working hard to ensure that this gas emissions is being addressed.
The theme for this year's World Maritime Day identifies with the SDG Goal 14, which believes in the conservation of the marine resources for poverty eradication. In Lagos, Michael Olale, NTA News.
Away from the maritime sector, Boa Group, one of Nigeria's leading manufacturing companies, has expressed its readiness to partner with relevant agencies and sectors to fix infrastructure and spur growth for cross-border trade in Africa. Annie Daniels reports that the executive chairman of the company, Abdul Samad Rabiu, stated this while playing host to the Secretary General of the African Continent Free Trade Area, Wamkele Mene, in Lagos.
Chief Chairman of Boa Group, Abdul Samad Rabiu, informed the team that the company's mining and manufacturing businesses are mostly located in areas that are potentially primed for exports, thereby making the Continental Free Trade Area attractive to Boa Group. However, for the agreement to succeed, he says, issues like the status of current regional agreements, movement of people within the continent, dumping, proliferation of small arms and illicit drugs, smuggling, the Trans-African Highway and private sector, African Union and government partnerships need to be given adequate attention.
I'm personally ready, as I said, to partner, with you, Your Excellency, and also get other like-minded, businesses to try and see what we can do together.
Secretary General of African Continent Free Trade Area, Wamkele Mene, applauded the management of BUA Group for the feats achieved so far. Mene said that already 54 African countries have endorsed the agreement, with 28 gratified.
All of us, we want to create a legacy. We want to make sure that that African companies such as yourself, that African multinational corporations are able to expand across the African continent.
Both parties are optimistic that the AfCFTA, if actualized and properly harnessed, will boost development and trade within the African continent more than ever before. BUA Group, established over 30 years ago, specializing in the importation and marketing of iron and steel, agricultural and industrial chemicals, the company has developed into a full-fledged diversified business with a stake in a wide range of business sectors. In Lagos, Annie Daniels, NTA News.
We now take a break. The news continues shortly.
If you run mad, we know waiting cause am. Every time now this phone. Have you gone to buy more units for light? Give me this phone. Ha! They don't finally get you. Enter store, you go see one pink nylon. Bring and come. If you try am. Now that chicken where they use gonna look me. Now I want to. That one.
Oh! So how are you send me message when no get with this? Shate. Make yourself begin to enjoy credit and data. Berekete.
Introducing Berekete. Activate a new glow sale and get 600 Naira free credit plus 700% bonus on every recharge and up to 100% bonus on data plans. Find your first with Berekete. Glow Unlimited.
Sensitivity is a short, sharp pain that people experience when they have something hot or cold getting to the nerve of the tooth. If the sensitivity is left alone, it may get worse. Dentists recommend Sensodyne. It's able to calm the nerve of the tooth. The proof's in the results. It works. Sensitivity is a short, sharp pain that people experience when they have something hot or cold getting to the nerve of the tooth. If the sensitivity is left alone, it may get worse. Dentists recommend Sensodyne. It's able to calm the nerve of the tooth. The proof's in the results. It works.
The Administrative Staff College of Nigeria, ASCON, announces the sales of forms from suitably qualified candidates for admission into the Postgraduate Diploma in Public Administration 2020-2021 session. Areas of specialization includes human resource management, finance supplies and materials management, procurement, planning and research, local government and rural development, and public enterprises management. Target audience: applicants with the following qualifications: first degree or higher national diploma, HND from recognized universities or polytechnics. Professional qualifications such as ACA, ACCA, CIS, and any other equivalent professional qualification. Applicants from the armed forces with any of the following qualifications: PSC, Past Staff College, or its equivalent from the armed forces. Date: October 2020 to June 2021. Venue: Topo Badagry, Lagos. Cost fee: 207,000 Naira. Accommodation and feeding exclusive. For further inquiries, please contact the Director of Studies, Head of Department, Dr. Aruna Abdul, on 006 305 0788, or the course registrar, Mrs. A.C. Nwankwo, on 003 213 4367. Announcer A.C. Nwankwo for Director General, ASCON.
Guess what?
What?
I scored a hat trick today.
Cool.
Wow.
And how did you celebrate?
Just do your hands like this.
And hold your nose like this.
Body odor is caused by germs. That's why you need the new improved Dettol Cool Soap, which protects against 99.9% odor-causing germs with an extra burst of menthol freshness. Dettol, be 100% sure.
You're welcome back to NTA Network News. The presidency says it welcomes with seriousness the letter from UK lawmakers, legal experts and campaigners on the state of the nation. Elizabeth Omori brings us details of the letter here.
The government is asking the British lawmakers to visit Nigeria, whether formally or informally, to discuss all the points raised in their letter, stating that the country has everything to gain as a nation through international cooperation. The statement pointed out that the threat to civilians and peaceful coexistence between different ethnic and religious groups from Boko Haram, banditry and land disputes is of serious concern to the president and the government. It is therefore incorrect to assert that the government has or is doing nothing to address these intertwined threats. The presidency explained that there are ongoing efforts for the establishment of cattle ranches to prevent or curtail open grazing, the practice that brings herders and farmers into conflict. It added that the federal government has launched a plan to work with states to address the age-old problem of land distribution. But unfortunately, some state governors have not shown willingness to deal with the issue. It is also to be noted, when the government came to power, the terrorist group held and administered an area the size of Belgium. Now, they could hold none. The terrorists are hiding out amongst remote forests and across borders. This makes it difficult to extinguish the final flames of insurgency, and the government has no illusions of the potent threat still posed. However, the progress made cannot be denied. In the face of rising crime and insecurity, the government's new community policing initiative has been launched with 10,000 new constables being recruited from the areas they will safeguard, as opposed to past practice. The government has earmarked 13 billion naira for this initiative with the hopes that it will bring policing closer to local communities. The presidency also pointed out to the British lawmakers that not all who press them have the best interest of either democratic governance or peaceful coexistence in mind. For example, the former Nigerian Chief of Army Staff, named and quoted in the letter as a source on military matters, relinquished that position some 40 years ago in 1979. He was last in a government position 17 years ago in 2003 as Minister of Defense. At that time, religious and ethnic riots erupted in 2 states of the Federation, 2001 and 2002. These were violently and ruthlessly put down by the military under its authority, leading to loss of thousands of lives and the displacement of some further 50,000 persons. Is therefore not a natural source of pressure for good governance. Another signatory to the letter is well known to be associated with the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, a Nigerian blacklisted terrorist group. The IPOB is running a well-known source of financing unknown international campaign intended to damage the reputation of Nigeria and its government in order to further their cause of independence. He jumped bail in Nigeria, frequently travels on a Nigerian passport, but urged his supporters to burn their passports. The IPOB barely mentioned their aims in their publicity. Neither do they mention that their own leadership does not claim to be a Christian. The statement from the presidency called on Nigeria's British friends and colleagues to join in addressing genuine solutions, not pander to agents of anarchy.
Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Baba Abubakar, says the Nigerian Air Force is poised to effectively advance the course of tackling all forms of security threats in the country in line with the global best practices. He said this during the inauguration of the newly reactivated aerospace ground equipment and bulk fuel installation in Makurdi. Husseini Muhammad Isa reports.
Aerospace ground equipment were fully reactivated and put to operational status by the 131 Engineering Group of the Nigerian Air Force Base Makurdi. Also, the bulk fuel installation was completely overhauled by the engineering group. The Air Force engineers equally produced a man-portable rocket launcher suitable for all forms of operations and ground fire. Chief of Air Staff Air Marshal Sadiq Baba Abubakar said the reactivated aerospace ground equipment will be deployed to the northeast to combat terrorism.
From what I have seen is that the UNTA is taking the right steps in ensuring that we get what we require in terms of equipment in preparation for the arrival of additional platforms, aircraft that the federal government has acquired for us.
Air Marshal Sadiq Baba Abubakar also inspected some ongoing projects in the Air Force Base Makurdi. Air Marshal Sadiq Baba Abubakar also delivered a lecture to middle cadre officers who are undergoing training from the Air Force Base here in Makurdi. I am Hussein Mohammed Isa, NTA News.
Nigeria and the People's Republic of Bangladesh have pledged greater cooperation in the area of agriculture towards sustaining food sufficiency for their growing populations. Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, stated this after receiving outgoing High Commissioner of Bangladesh to Nigeria, Shamim Hassan, in Abuja. Mitere Ekben reports.
Diplomatic relations between Nigeria and Bangladesh span over 4 decades with shared interests in trade and investment, agriculture, tourism, military training, among other areas of cooperation. Both countries are major contributors to the United Nations peacekeeping operations, and they belong to the Commonwealth, the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, the Developing 8 Countries, and the Non-Aligned Movement. Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, says Nigeria-Bangladeshi relations have been flourishing, and the Bangladeshi High Commissioner to Nigeria, Shamim Hassan, agrees there is room for greater cooperation.
Bangladesh is a country of 165 million people, but is self-sufficient in food. I believe the continued efforts of establishing some bilateral relationships in terms of signing of different forms of MOU that will help us explore much more of this relationship.
We also discussed about some issues about possible areas of cooperation where both countries can collaborate and can benefit mutually.
As the Bangladeshi envoy leaves for his next assignment in Italy, he is optimistic that his successor will build on the existing ties between Nigeria and Bangladesh. In Abuja, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
No society is considered balanced if women are hindered from mainstreaming across all sectors of the economy, in line with the African Union Agenda 2063. Women are seeking actionable policy reviews and implementation that will aid gender equality in all areas of human endeavor. This was at the Ambassadorial Assembly in Abuja. Adebola Brooks Sunday was there.
At some points, men dominated and took charge of governance and other leadership roles. Following agitations over time, all that changed. Some women that have been entrusted with positions of authority in public and private sectors displayed traits of better and thoroughbred leaders.
Women not coming up to participate.
At this roundtable by the African Union Agenda 2063 Ambassadorial Assembly, participants' advocacy centered on gender mainstreaming, which they say is key to achieving sustainable development in Africa.
But side by side ensure equality.
Minister of Women Affairs Pauline Tallen, who applauded President Muhammadu Buhari for inclusion of more women, expressed some concerns.
Especially important to address social and economic challenges that affects women, including health, quality education, water and sanitation, jobs, access to finance and technology.
We must do more to empower our women because functional and sustainable empowerment of women serve as a propeller that accelerates growth and global development.
Review the Constitution and have women's role pronounced.
Agenda 2063 targets a people-centered development plan that will be driven by Africans, especially women and youths. Adebola Brooksland Sunday, NTA News.
We'll take another break. More reports when we return.
Football on Top Go TV. Sote him forget say him be best man for him party wedding. Amaka disappoint her bobo all because of football. Kola and him family supposed come out, but then gas change plans because for this new football season, Go TV get correct football action wey make sense. Get Go TV decoder wey come with 1 month Go TV Max subscription for only 9,500 naira. Go TV, live it, love it.
Welcome back. The Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Ahmed Idris Wasi, extend heartfelt sympathy to the Governor of Kogi State, Yahya Bello, and the entire people of the state over the unfortunate fire incident caused by a petrol tanker explosion at Felele area along Lokoja, Abuja Road, leading to the death of many people. In a statement, the Deputy Speaker says he shares in their grief and pain at the magnitude of destruction caused by the accident. Idris Wasi expressed sadness that the misfortune that befell the people at this difficult period and prayed Allah to grant the wounded quick healing. A quick check on the weather prospects for Friday is up next.
You're welcome. Isolated cases of thunderstorms are expected across the country come Friday. Parts of Gombe, Bauchi, Southern Kaduna and Adamawa down to part of Nasarawa, Abuja, Kwara and Niger states should expect morning thunderstorms, while other places within the northern and central region will be cloudy in the morning. The southern cities should be cloudy, with prospects of thunderstorms and rains over parts of Lagos, Ijebu, Delta, Edo axis, down to Bayelsa State. The afternoon and evening hours holds better prospects for widespread activities, where thunderstorms are anticipated over rivers, Cross River, Akwa Ibom, including some parts of the central and the northern part of the country, where isolated cases of thunderstorms are expected. And that's our bit from here. I'll see you again. Thanks for watching.
Just before we go, we will like to inform you that a documentary on the Nigerian Air Force capacity development comes up tonight at 10:30 p.m. on the network service of the NTA. Well, that's network news for tonight. Thanks so much for watching. Remember to stay safe. I am Jumwa Yusuf.